I am so happy to see my next guest finally make her UFC debut. We've been doing interviews for years. It's finally here. UFC Fight Night, February 25th. It is Hailey Cowan-Brennan joining me here on the program. Hailey, how are you?
I am good. So close. Almost there.
Now that we're kind of getting closer and closer, have you been able to kind of soak this in? Because, like I mentioned, it's been a pretty long journey for you to get here.
Yeah, I wasn't very good at taking in each moment as an amateur or at the beginning of my pro career, so I'm trying to be better about it. Make sure I remember everything and feel everything. It feels like it's been a really long camp because literally as soon as I stepped out of the Contenders cage, I was already campaigning for a fight and trying to get set up. So I feel ready and honestly just ready to go at this point.
So, yeah, I was going to ask you about that because obviously you had the wedding after you won the contract. So, was that just, did you sort of decide to do the wedding because there was no fight offers, or take me through that sort of process?
So we'd had the wedding planned before the fight. We knew it was going to be 2 weeks after, and I just tried my best, to have good defense and not get not
Right.
get all cut up or anything like that. So we planned it. We knew that this year, if Contenders went the way that we thought it was going to go, that hopefully would be really busy after that. So we just wanted to knock it out.
How did the wedding go? Everything live up to the hype? I know sometimes when you're prepping, you don't even really get to enjoy it because it goes by so quickly. At least that's how it was for my wedding.
Yeah, it was really fun. My sister actually planned the whole thing because I was in camp and I'm extremely singularly focused. I can't focus on more than one thing at a time. So my sister kind of planned it all, and basically I just showed up and got married. It was fun. It was small, basically just family and some friends. So
that's the way to do it. Save some money. It's great. Looked like you got plenty of notice for this fight. When did you find out?
So I found out at the end of November.
Oh, wow.
There were a couple names thrown at me before that I agreed to, and then something would happen. They didn't end up working out. And so I was just I thought I was going to fight in December, and then that never happened. And then January, and then February ended up happening. But I kind of knew, I have this weird sixth sense when it comes to who I'm going to fight next. And I kind of knew it was going to be Ailin. I don't know how, we have this big board, and I call it Jake's his lair. In his lair, it's got all the names of every bantamweight in the division on there. And if you look at the board, everyone's name is written in his handwriting except for hers. Mm-hmm. And hers has a star by it because I just had a feeling. I was like, we have the same records. We both, she lost her debut in the UFC. And I haven't had my debut yet. So I was like, it just kind of makes sense. I feel like that's the one they're going to line up. And they called and they said, hey, it's Ailin Perez. And I was like, I knew it. Perfect.
There you go. Well, that's good then. So you're sort of familiar with her, which is always good. So, I'm sure you've looked a little bit more in depth into her now that it's official. Style wise, how are you looking at this fight?
And I say this with all the respect in the world. I feel like she's a lesser version of the last girl that I fought. Okay. She's really, really similar to her, just a little bit sloppier, but more aggressive. So she could pose some different problems potentially just because of her aggression. But I feel like my last fight was the perfect warm up for this one.
I know when we had spoken before, even I think before Contender Series, you had done some cross training. I know going down to Colorado. Take me through camp this time around. Did you get to do any cross training, or has it all been pretty much at home base?
We originally planned for some cross training in Denver, but we bought a new house out of town, got some land and some acreage.
Oh, cool.
And we have this big 1,500 square foot shed that we fully insulated. I had some sponsors totally build it out for me, and it's going to be an awesome gym. So we were working on that. But I actually made a really good connection with Montana De La Rosa, who's
awesome.
just down the road. She's an hour away from me. And so she'd come here once a week, and we'd go there once a week. So we did two days a week. We would train with Montana and her team, and she'd come here and train with us. So I got what I needed. Got a Canadian down here. Had Melissa Croden. She's one of my really good friends.
Oh, cool.
And one of my favorite people to work with. So she came down and worked with me, which stylistically not the biggest help for this fight, but still just a good, strong, durable, fun training partner. So yeah, I've had everything I've needed, thank goodness, without having to travel. So.
Well, and Montana's got her big fight with Tatiana Suarez as well. So I'm sure, kind of iron sharpening iron, right?
Yeah, and it ended up, being perfect. She couldn't find a lefty, and I was like, hey, I'm a lefty, and I'm right down the street, and I like to wrestle. And so it ended up being, it ended up being a really good connection. So.
Well, and I'm sure, we talked about this last time too, like getting to go, I know you didn't get to do it this camp, but getting to go to Elevation, working with like Lauren Murphy and all these other really high level fighters, like that must have given a little confidence boost as well, just because these are some top women in their respective divisions, right?
It gives you so much confidence, not only in the fight, but just being around like-minded people. There's fighters, and then there's UFC fighters, and there's Bellator fighters, and there's fighters, and then there's that top tier of us that are, it's just a different mindset. And so it was good being around people that have the same end goal, the same mindset. They're not just there to screw around. They're there to train and beat the best. So
yeah, no,
it was
I get
good.
it. And how's the weight cut going? A lot better than flyweight. I know I always make that joke, but it's just crazy that you used to make flyweight back in the day.
It's insane. No, it's going good. This is easy. I'm like 7 over.
Oh, that's it. Oh, awesome. Okay, and we still got a bit of time too, which is great.
I'm like kind of trying at this point. I'm trying to put a little bit back on, not on, but like maintain it until the weight cut.
That makes sense. And what about your corner? I'm sure your husband will be in your corner, but who else will be in the cage with you?
My manager, Brian Butler.
Oh, cool. Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. Hopefully he doesn't spill the ice this time.
I was gonna say, yeah, exactly. Yeah, gotta make sure he doesn't do that. That's gonna not be good for the debut. How do you see this fight playing out? I know you feel like you're gonna get your hand raised. We talked about the style matchup, but how do you envision the fight going down?
I mean, every time I fight, I expect a little bit of everything because I enjoy doing a little bit of everything. I know she's gonna try to get it to the ground probably immediately. Everyone is always taken aback by how large I am, and it usually ends up scaring them, so they end up just trying to kind of grab me, which isn't a good idea either. So I think she's probably going to try to grab me. I'm going to try to keep the distance for a little bit, but I want to grapple too. So I don't know. I imagine cuts with elbows and knees, and then maybe a submission or a ground and pound finish. Who knows? I'll take what I can get.
And just one more thing about the fight, like, we hear about UFC jitters, but I feel like there's been high expectations for you even on the regional scene, and then you had to go on Contender Series, fight in front of Dana already. Like, how much is that sort of help you in your debut? It's not like you're just going onto the big stage for the first time.
I've already fought in front of Dana like 2 or 3 times. Yeah. I did an LFA as well. He was there doing his little whatever show that was.
Looking for a fight. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, so I've won in front of him a lot, and so I'm excited. I mean, I feel like Contenders was my debut. Everyone keeps talking about my debut. I'm like, I already had it, like in my mind.
Yeah.
But I don't feel any jitters yet. It's at the Apex. I've already fought at the Apex. I mean, everything is the cards are kind of stacked in my favor at this point, and I'm excited about that. Been in that cage, fought in that cage, fought in front of Dana, fought in front of Mick,
Yeah. No, I hear you. Obviously, debut, and you got to see how this goes and sort of figure out the rest of the year. But I imagine you want to keep active. That was always an issue with you on the regional scene, and it's not your fault because there's a lot of women who didn't want to fight you. So I guess that's one of the benefits of being in the UFC, right?
Yeah, I want to knock out my whole first contract this year. That would be ideal. It's just, 3 fights in a year. That's ideal. Okay. So I would like to do that and renegotiate, and I would like to knock out my second contract in a year too, because I feel like if I can go get 6 wins, then that puts me, fighting at the top. So I want to do that. And I know that, I improve a lot every fight. And so I know that with my rate of improvement in 6 fights, I'll be ready for whatever they have, whatever's going on. So,
and then so talking about activity and all that, I know you're super busy. What is downtime looking like these days? You mentioned sort of building the gym and all that. What have you been up to outside of training?
So we just bought a farmhouse and a little farm. So downtime has pretty much just been getting all that together.
Okay. Do you have like animals on the farm and you have to do like farm work and stuff? We're
getting a couple cows, and we're talking about getting some chickens, but we don't have any animals yet. We just moved at the end of last year, so everything is still. But in order to meet, our livestock exemptions and stuff like that, we need some animals. So I'm excited. It's going to be fun.
Would you spend your winnings like on like a cow or something, I guess? Or like, how is this something you guys have talked about?
I've got a family friend who's a cattle farmer down the road, and so I'll probably get a couple cows from him. I'm not sure how we're going to do it yet or what I'm going to spend on what. Hopefully I get a bonus, because then I could buy a lot more than a couple cows. There you go.
You can make this really cool farm, right? With all that bonus money.
Yeah.
So there you go. A lot of incentive to get it done. Hailey, thanks so much for doing this. Really excited for the debut, February 25th, UFC Fight Night. I know you got some people to thank. I know you got some social media you want to plug. I'm going to give you all that right now. I'll give you the floor and give you the last word here.
All right. So my parents this entire camp have come in clutch so much. Like, my dad came to the house because we were having an electrical issue, and I was training and couldn't be. He's done that multiple times. He helped me with tires. Like, so many things have happened this camp, and my dad and my mom have just come in clutch. So wanted to give them a little shout out. And obviously my husband, he's always running my camp, making sure everything runs smoothly. My management, all of my sponsors, especially Lone Star Truck Group. They're the ones who made sure that I was able to build out the barn, the gym. We're calling it the barn. So, so thank you to them. Thank you to the Roof Co. They've been super helpful as well. So thank you, everybody. Y'all have been awesome. Without you guys, I don't think people really understand that we can't fight without our sponsors, because we couldn't even make it through a camp without them. So.
Awesome. All right. We are done recording. I will get this up as soon as I can. I will send you the link there on social media, and have a great weekend. And it's too bad you're fighting on this card, because I'm going to be in Vegas the week after for 285. So we could have crossed paths.
I wanted to be on that San Antonio card so bad. I was like, what if I win like really dominantly?
There you go. And then they get short notice or something. Yeah. So we'll see.
I've never prayed for someone to get hurt before, but
there you go. No, I get it. It's all good.